change, rearrange, and life seems strange, but you gotta keep your aim, stay focused on the game, don't quit. Quitters never win, winning all the games.
I would ask you a question now, is that how came that you decided that I need to share, you know, positivity to the world? Like, what propelled you to that?
Well, this is not something that's new as far as for me. For me, I grew up very poor. I grew up at a very low level of poverty. So early in my life, I knew that I wanted to change my situation. And by doing that, I grew a greater appreciation for individuals that were in my situation as well. And so it's always been my mindset to give back to individuals that are less fortunate than myself, and then also to create opportunities and avenues where people can see that they have the ability to be more than what it is that they're born into. And they don't utilize that as a crutch to actually hold themselves back, but they use that as a stepping stone and how it is they might be able to go further and accomplish what it is that they're actually looking to do. And so this is something that started deep, deep inside of me when I was just a kid, because I was poor. And I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to live in a mission. I know what it's like to sleep in a car. And I know what hard times is. I know what it's like to go to bed hungry. But now, of course, things have changed because of that hard work, the discipline, and the dedication, and also because of the desire to want to see better, see something better as far as in my life, other than the way I grew up, and also in the neighborhoods where I grew up. You know, in the neighborhoods where I grew up, you know, there was gun violence, there was shooting, there was stabbing, there was drug sales, and it was the lowest socioeconomic status within the neighborhoods. But I say I'm a good product of my environment, because I still love Venice. Of course, it's changed a lot now, but back in the late 70s, it was bad. It was very bad, but I still love it. I still love the visit. I love the beach there. I love the food that's there. I love the melting pot that's there in that portion of California. So it's got a lot of great things there. The best part, of course, is the beach and the wildflower pizza.
Man, tell me when you're going there next time. I will go with you. I have to connect you with Frank Carvajal, because he's like a big Latino leader in US. Oh. And we talked a lot, him and me, you know, like we talk a lot about the thing about growing up, coming from El Barrio, or from some say, I hate when they say the ghetto, because that is like marginalizing us into some. This is a fact, you know, like most people in our areas that live there, they work hard to feed their children, to send them to school. Now, we have some bad people, or I would not say even bad, I would say people that walk the wrong path of life. And they are like, that is what you see. You see a small, tiny percentage that make the news, and you judge all of us. And I don't like that. I talk a lot about Frank Carvajal, about this thing. And I can tell you like this. This is how I see the world right now. From an entrepreneur perspective, I see it like this. Entrepreneurship is like boxing. It doesn't matter if you're the son of the president. When you enter that ring, it's about skills, my friend, and hunger. Right. And that is what we have. We have a lot of hunger. And another thing that is common, I would say, for us, like what you just said, that is so important, we don't forget where we came from. We give back once we climb that ladder. And that is what I'm preaching. And this is what Frank Carvajal is saying with Tiempo, what he's doing. I need to connect you to. He's saying, and I think Jesse said it too, Adrian Mendoza said it on my show. He said that we need to climb giving one hand down. That is how we rise, my friend. Because we know what we have to pass, because the door was closed for us. We couldn't sit at that table. And then we decided, you know what, we will build our own table. And that's what we're doing, my friend. We're building our own table.
Yeah, it's so true. But, you know, the thing is that I guess that's that genuine, authentic sense of empathy, being able to appreciate where you come from, but at the same time, having that understanding that I don't have to stay here, and this is not my destiny. And like we had previously spoke, that I made that decision when I was 11 years old, that this was not a defining factor of my life. It was only a part of my life. And being able to know that and be consciously aware that I had the ability to create the life and live the lifestyle that I wanted, based on the discipline, the commitment, the hard work, and the effort that I put into it, which is the same thing everyone else can do. So when people say that they can't do it, I don't buy into that, and I don't believe it. If we work hard and we get a strict action plan that's realistic, and we set goals and we attach goals to it, then there's a great opportunity that the different things that we're looking to accomplish, it's going to take place. And that's just what I believe and how I've grown up and how it is that I practice in business and the different things that I choose to participate in.
That's so important what you just said, because we have the choice, and we always have the choice.
Yeah.
To choose negativity or positivity. We always have it, you know. But the only problem I see from my experience, because I had to take to the street at a quite young age, because I have a dysfunctional home, I would say. My mother tried her best, but she was mostly ill. My father, he left us for a while because he wanted to live his politics and do his revolution for his peoples. That was like his thing, you know. I don't judge him anymore. I did it then. I have to be honest. I did it, but not anymore, man. I think every human has to follow their like destiny or whatever we call it.
Yeah.
But what happened with me on the street was that I had to toughen up, you know, when I hit like the teens, because then is when people will hit you for real. That was not even like before they took like my hat, they ran away, maybe they pushed my head into the toilet. That was like worst case scenario, right? And maybe some beatings. But once I hit 13, 14, 15, now people were coming with knives, you know, like neo-Nazis and all these people. Wow. So I had to toughen up a lot, you know. So I had to start boxing. I had broken my nose like more than 10 times. I realized that some people influenced me by believing in me. And that is what I'm trying to say with these stories, that when I'm talking now with Frank Carvajal and other people, like how can we go to the ghettos that they call them, or like the barrios or whatever? How can we go there and inspire you know, to lecture? Because these youth, the only positive they see is that I don't know, that they don't know so many entrepreneurs, I would say, or engineers because they move out. You know? So that is what I'm talking. What is your perspective on what I just said? You know, like my experience.
But I mean, we share some of the similar backgrounds as well. We grew up, like I said, very poor, and it was just my mother, and then it was 4 boys. Initially, our journey started in Chicago, and then from there we moved to Los Angeles, and then from there to Venice. But the entire time of growing up, I saw my father maybe twice in my life before he passed away years and years ago. But he was never a part of the life, and so then everything that took place was my mother's doing. So the disciplinary, the management of the grades, our academia, and everything that took place, the discipline, it all came from her. But of course, being in that type of neighborhood or being in those type of arenas, of course, you find people that want to pick on you just because you have less money than they have, or you're poorer than the poorest people there. So of course, you're always an item as far as to pick on. And so that was a part of my background as well. I mean, I was always picked on. I was always taunted, you know, because my clothes possibly were tattered, they were old, they were used, they were secondhand, or they came from the Salvation Army. But then, of course, things changed once you get a little older, because, you know, I started growing into, you know, this body that I have now, and being able to develop and participate in martial arts and different things like that. So that was a way really to combat as far as the different bullies or individuals that thought that they had that ability to take advantage of me. So those days, of course, they went away, and they never returned. So I can definitely understand, and I can appreciate where it is that you came from and some of the different things you went through, because I had to go through the same things as well. So I know.
Yeah, the only thing I did wrong, I think, was that I wanted revenge for some years, you know, like when I was between, I would say 15 and 18. That was, I'm saying that I had this anger that was not healthy for me, you know.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the revenge on society, on these skinheads that had beaten me up someday, maybe, or these bullies that had put my head in the toilet, you know, because now they were afraid of me. I had made the opposite, right? And then what happened one day, then I entered a bus. I was like 17 or 18, I don't remember, but and then this little skinhead, like 15 years old, with his Nazi symbols, came on the bus. And I look at him, and I saw he was so afraid of me, you know, like, and I saw him, and I didn't see like now this Nazi skinhead. I saw myself, that child that was terrified of going to school, because maybe he will meet one of these older like racists that want to hurt me, right?
Right.
And I saw his fear, man, in his eyes looking at me. Now I was quite big, you know, I was bodybuilding, I was boxing, and my broken nose. It's like I didn't look so nice, you know, like, you know, and he just looked at me, and I just saw him, man, and my heart broke in pieces. And I thought to myself, what have I become?
Right.
What have I become? That triggered something in me, I would say, that it took me, it didn't, the change didn't come immediately, of course, but that propelled me to start to walk into healing, I would say. Because, like I said, I was still the computer nerd. Nothing changed, you know. And I think if that is the thing what I believe in, the, like the, some say the law of attraction, some say like the universe follow the universe. But I think that maybe that incident woke up that I could come back to my books, and then I entered university.
Okay.
So then I say that everything has a reason, because I get this question, is there something you would change if you could go back in time? You know, like, for example, when they put your head to the toilet or whatever, you know, and I would say, no, nothing, man. I would take all the suffering again, because now I have my children.
Right.
Would you, if, and I have, now it's the big question, right? If you could go back in time, would you change something?
If I could, I think I would change growing up poor if I could.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can agree on that. Maybe I would have some more, right?
But the thing is that all those different things that happened once I was young, and that I was coming up, and the suffering and the hardship, it all led to me metamorphosing into who it is I am now. So I wouldn't be the person that I am now had I not had those type of hard times. I would not have taken my kids to an orphanage inside of Thailand to live for a week. I would not always be looking for community service events that I could always participate in, because I wouldn't have that empathy, and I wouldn't have that understanding of what it means to be poor, what it means to be hungry, or what it means to be in a different place, or to live in low-end motels in slum neighborhoods. I wouldn't have that experience. So therefore, that would change who it is that I am today. And I wouldn't have such a high level of empathy and also concern for other people. So if there was something to change, if I could, of course, it would be the economic status. Because although growing up poor, there's nothing fun or exciting about it. You have a greater sense of the value of money, and you take better care of your resources. And then for me, it's also been very important to allow my children to understand the value of money, and understanding that money doesn't come easy, and that this is something that you work very hard for. And if you take care of it and you understand it and appreciate it, you won't think that you always have to have immediate gratification once you actually accomplish something. So changing something, just the socioeconomic status, but everything else, I mean, the suffering, although I won't say at the time it was very good, but it's brought me to the place that I am now of a high level of appreciation. So everything that I have, I don't take it for granted. Every day I have a time to where I stand and I look out the window first thing in the morning, and I give appreciation for what it is that I have and what it is that's taking place in my life, my family, and everything, every single morning, because I know it didn't have to be like this. I could have been undisciplined. I could have went the wrong way with the crowd. I could have hung out with individuals that participated in criminal activities. And then, of course, my life would have been something completely different. So, yeah, not a lot to change. But there, you know, from that, a lot of growth comes, and a lot of understanding and insight, not just into yourself, but also in people as well. And you understand people, you understand their characters, you understand their motivation, why it is that they do certain things. And that within itself, it keeps you from doing things as well. So it's huge. And, you know, I got a great appreciation, you know, also for being, you know, a father. Of course, I have my wife as far as to help me, that we do as far as with our children, but my mother had to do it all by herself. And that's with 4 boys. And, you know, when I look back, I'm thinking, you know, how in the world did she do this? And I'm thinking, there's no way I could have done her job at the time when she was doing it, or even now, you know, in the 21st century, because it would be tremendously difficult. So, you know, my mother, she is and was a warrior as far as in doing what she did with 4 boys all on her own, no financial support, no help or anything, and just working and making sure that things went the best that she actually could. So, nah, I wouldn't change much.
That was poetry, my friend. That was your TED Talks, I would say. That was so beautiful to listen to. I'm so thankful that you shared that with me, touched a lot of emotions with me. I would say you're a gift to this world, my friend, and I appreciate our friendship so much. Even more, I would say, now that we have touched heart from this talk, I would say, because that is what I preach, is that if people talk more with each other, they will realize that stop hating so much, because we are all humans and we have more common things than the opposite, I would say.
Yeah. Make the change, rearrange, and life seems strange, but you gotta keep your aim, stay focused on the game, don't quit. Quitters never win, winning all begins when you begin to believe in yourself again. Yeah, ready, fire, aim, gotta get that. Negativity in my life, gotta get back. Positivity tastes sweet like a Kit Kat. Unity in the community is how we get that change.